Monday Night Raw starts off with Liv Morgan. She ends up cutting a quick promo. She ends up mentioning how she are mentioning her recent, match and her recent feud with Jade and Bianca. And then she ends up saying that she knows they're there. They're going to pick a fight. So she brought backup. And the backup ended up being Nia Jax, Tiffany, and Candice LeRae. Then Nia was about to say a few words, but ends up getting interrupted by Bianca, Jade, and Io, and Naomi, if I'm not mistaken. They end up coming down to the ring and basically they end up basically mentioning I don't think they mentioned war games or they alluded to it or wherever, but it's four of them and the heels have five people. Liv mentions how it's 5-on-4. Then you end up hearing Rhea Ripley theme music comes out. She makes her return, and then she ends up attacking Liv Morgan. Oh yeah, she was the one that mentions war games. That's why I got confused. But Rhea Ripley's back, and this is gonna be the war games match. I don't know how to feel about this. I kind of wish they would have held out on Rhea Ripley returning, but it's understandable, especially to fill out the Survivor Series card, because I don't know what else you can put on Survivor. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I think four of the matches are probably confirmed. You got the War Games match, you got Damian and Gunther, and then most likely Cody and Kevin. So then you just got to figure out what that fifth match is going to be. So interesting. A lot of people are saying that Tiffany Stratton could potentially cash in. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. I'm not buying it to that hype. I just don't see her doing it in the War Games match. But the match should be interesting. This match shouldn't exist. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, this match really shouldn't exist. The baby faces stand tall, obviously. Baby faces always stand tall in these situations for the most part. Yeah, I highly doubt that. Yeah, I just highly doubt that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, this match shouldn't exist. I don't know why I got off track. This match really shouldn't exist, if I'm being honest. But the match should be interesting nonetheless. Now we end up getting Final Testament in the Miz. They end up having a very good vignette. This was really good. Basically, talking about the Wyatt. Karrion Cross said something that was very interesting. He ends up saying that the Wyatts are just wounded people who just use other people for their own gain, which you could kind of look at it from that point of view, to be honest, because their whole thing is about treating family right and not betraying your friends. So, I mean, yeah, and the whole reason why they're like this is because, Bray Wyatt passing. So, you could use that. I mean, that is a good way to look at it, to be honest. This was really good. And then Bo Dallas ends up having his own segment as well, talking about how he tried to help them and tried to, put them on a better path, but now this was good. This is really good. I'm really interested in this feud. I can't wait to see how this plays out. You can argue this could be at Survivor Series. I highly doubt it. I don't think it's going to be a Survivor Series, but I would love for this to be a Survivor Series match in my opinion. But highly doubt it. But this was really good. I like this. After this, we end up getting Gunther. He ended up having a quick segment with Ludwig, and then he ends up seeing Damian Priest, tries to attack Damian Priest, but Damian Priest ends up actually getting the upper hand and ends up standing tall. This is very interesting. It's showing Gunther constantly losing more and more confidence, being more and more not sure of himself, being this guy who is not sure that he can actually defeat Damian Priest. I actually like this story. I like this story a lot. Now, the only thing is that Gunther is probably going to win. Yeah, he's going to win the Survivor Series match. So I don't know how they're going to make up for Damian losing, unless they're going to have Damian lose by like some shenanigans. Because if Gunther's this show is like super unsure of himself, this would have been a good narrative to tell if he was going to lose. But if he's not going to lose the championship, I don't see why tell this story. I like the story. I do. I think it's a good narrative. I just don't like the narrative for him winning the championship, if that makes sense. It'd be a good narrative to tell when he loses it that he was unsure, but to be unsure of yourself and still win, that kind of makes Damian Priest look a little bit worse if you're going to have him lose cleanly. But I'm interested in the match, and I can't wait to see how that match plays out. After this, we end up getting Sheamus and Braun. This was a really great match, but it did get interrupted by Ludwig Kaiser. Ludwig Kaiser ends up attacking Braun Breaker, and he ends up tagging Sheamus. He did this to basically, make a name for himself, become his own man, because the backstage segment I was talking about, Gunther ends up telling that Ludwig that he needs to do things on his own, and he needs to become his own man. I like this. I'm not mad at it. This protects Sheamus and Braun Breaker at the same time, and then this puts Ludwig and Sheamus back into their feud and put Ludwig back in the IC title picture. I like it. He's not gonna win anything because he always loses every match, which is something I kind of don't like. Because Ludwig, I love Ludwig, very underrated, but he loses every match, and he's not beating. He can't even beat Sheamus. If they wasn't gonna allow him to beat Sheamus, he's not beating Braun. But it should be interesting nonetheless to see these three fight it out for the IC title, though. That should be a very interesting feud. After this, we get Dom, Carlito versus the War Raiders. The War Raiders pick up the victory. Then Finn Balor, JD McDonough basically attacked them. This is to build up their match for their tag team match for the tag team titles next week, if I'm not mistaken. I pray to God that the War Raiders win. Please, Triple H. Please, just have the War Raiders win. Just have them win. Just have them win. Just have them win. I am praying that they win. My gut is telling me that they're not going to win, but I'm hoping. I'm leaving out hope that they're going to win, but I just highly doubt it, and I have very low confidence. But I just hope. I just hope. I just hope. After this, we end up getting the New Day. They end up having another segment. Not gonna speak too much on this. They end up having another segment where basically Xavier Kofi ends up arguing. Alpha Academy shows up. Otis tries to try to calm things down, but Xavier ends up basically insulting Otis. He ends up bringing up Chad Gable, mentioning that he's a failure. He's the reason why Chad Gable left, and then they're gonna have a tag match next week. Interested to see how the tag match happens. What happens in the tag match. Interested to see how that plays out. Highly doubt a turn is going to happen. It's probably going to be a similar thing where they lose the match, maybe, where Xavier does something, they lose, and then they argue again, furthering the story of the New Day. Then we end up getting the main event. Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins. They put on a solid match. We get towards the end of the match, and then before the end of the match, actually, the Bloodline comes out, the new Bloodline. They come out, and then you get the OG Bloodline. They come out, and they end up attacking the new Bloodline, taking them out, making sure there's no interference. But then, towards the end of the match, Solo Sikoa ends up coming out. He's on top of a table, distracting Seth Rollins, which allows Bronson Reed to take advantage to pick up the victory. This is very obvious that, Seth is going to be the one that's going to be the fifth member. He's going to want payback on Solo and Bronson Reed, so makes sense to a degree. Overall, Raw was a solid show. It was a solid show. Nothing too major. It was a solid show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. But overall, you guys let me know your opinions below. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.